Welcome to the Ask Coach Mac podcast, where coaches from around the world get their strength and conditioning questions answered.
What's up, guys? Ron McKeeper here, and welcome to episode number 33 of Ask Coach Mac. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a great question from Dan. But before we get to that, I want to thank today's sponsor, Iron Grip. Iron Grip is the largest provider of commercial free weight equipment worldwide and the only manufacturer with a line of exclusively American-made free weight equipment. Their equipment can be found in premier fitness facilities in over 60 countries, including 3 facilities I've put together. They are the industry leader and my go-to choice for bars, plates, and dumbbells. For more information, go to irongrip.com, follow them on Twitter, or call Chris DeSanto at 509-230-3124. All right, here's today's question from Dan.
Hi, Coach Mac. My name is Dan Zuba, and I'm just entering the strength and conditioning field. My question for you is, what is the best way to stay in contact with strength and conditioning coaches that I've met or worked with? And how often should I communicate with them? Thanks, Coach Mac.
Dan, I appreciate your question, and this is reconnecting is an important step in the networking process. One that I think a lot of people fail to follow up on, and so I think it's a great question for everyone out there. The first thing I would recommend is that you got to, and I tell this to all my interns, is to make a list of all the people that you know in the coaching community, not just strength coaches, but just coaching community in and of itself. Think back to coaches that if you're just starting off, think about coaches that you had in high school. Think about the different coaches maybe you've come across in college, and just write it all out. And then I would write an initial letter to everyone on that list, just letting them know that you're going into the coaching field, that you're going into strength and conditioning, and that you want to stay in touch with them throughout the process. And as you make a new contact, you go to a conference, a new coach comes through, visiting wherever you're at, or things like that. You want to continue to add to that list, and so as you get years in the profession, this becomes harder and harder, and maybe you add and subtract people as you go. But you want to find the ways that works for you to stay in contact. And what I would recommend is that you make kind of an annual calendar, not going more than 8 weeks without reaching out to someone in some shape or form. And so, you can reach out by phone call, you can reach out through email, through text, through instant message, through social media. And I think the one that gets often overlooked, but is probably the most effective, is just snail mail. Getting a letter out through the old post office and getting something that's tangible in front of them, I think goes a long, long way. I know it does with me. And so what I would do is I would go at least every 2 months, I would reach out in one of those fashions, and I would simply just make a spreadsheet with each name, their contact information, and then have a checkbox for phone, email, text, IM, social media, and mail. And I would just go through and make sure that I touch base in those different ways every 2 months. Another time, that's just on a regular basis. And then you want to make sure that you're reaching out every time that there's something that's significant that happens in your life. And so you want to drop a line, preferably a written letter, just summarizing where you're at. So let's say you graduate college, you get a GA job. You want to let everybody know on your contact list that you've taken this job and where you're at. And so this was something that happened with me. I took a job. I'd done a site visit at Kansas State with Rod Cole. Stayed in contact with him, let him know that I was in Tampa after a couple stops, one with the Kansas City Royals, and then I get down to Tampa. I let him know that I'm at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then I let him know that I'm going over to NFL Europe. Well, he ended up helping track me down over in NFL Europe to let me know about a job with South Florida, which was in Tampa as well. And because he knew that I was in Tampa and this job was in Tampa, it was an instant click for him. And so it set the course of my career doing that. And so I think it would do the same for a lot of the coaches that are listening as well. So you want to drop a letter. I think a letter is really classy. You can do it by email, but sometimes you have the risk of that not being looked at. I'm going to look at every piece of mail that comes through my desk. The other thing you want to do is find opportunities throughout the year to touch base with them. Whether or not it's the beginning of their season, you wanted to send them a good luck message. Whether or not it's a big win, maybe they had a win that was notable that you want to reach out to them, let them know. Or holidays. Holidays are always good. Just realizing that a lot of people are going to probably be doing the same thing, so you don't want to get lost in the shuffle. And so, Dan, I hope that answers your question. We'd love to hear what everyone else thinks. Use the hashtag AskCoachMac33 to continue the discussion over on Twitter. Dan, thanks for your question. I want to encourage everyone else that if you have a question that you would like to potentially be featured on the show, head over to AskCoachMac.com. There, you can ask your question by hitting the record button at the bottom of the page. Thanks so much, and I appreciate you guys for listening. Here's a quote to finish off the day by Mike Krzyzewski of Duke. You have to work hard at staying in contact with your friends so that the relationships will continue to live on. Friendships, along with love, make life worth living. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next episode of Ask Coach Mac. Bye for now.